Rain hammered the cracked asphalt like bullets, turning the road into a river of darkness. Lightning cracked the sky open, and in that brief white flash, Jack saw her. A woman, curled against the guardrail, 3 men circling her like wolves. His taxi screeched to a stop. Water sprang across the pavement. Jack threw open his door before his mind could catch up to his body. "Back off," he said, his voice steel-wrapped in calm. The tallest one laughed, rain dripping from his hood. "What are you, her knight?" Jack stepped closer, fists tight at his sides. "You've got 5 seconds." The air went sharp, dangerous. One of them looked ready to swing, but something in Jack's eyes made them reconsider. They cursed under their breath and melted into the shadows. Jack turned to the woman. Her mascara ran like ink down her pale cheeks. Her thin dress clung to her shaking frame. "You okay?" he asked softly. She nodded, but her lips couldn't form words. Only trembling, he opened the taxi door.
"Come on."
"Let's get you somewhere dry." Sighed. The cab was warm, safe. She sat in the back, arms wrapped around herself, staring at nothing. Jack glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "Where to?" Her voice came out broken. "I don't know. I don't have money. I just needed to get away." Jack started the engine. "I didn't ask about your wallet." Silence stretched between them as the windshield wipers beat against the rain. Finally, she whispered somewhere quiet. "Where no one will find me." He nodded. "I know a place." They drove through empty streets until Jack pulled into a small park on the edge of town. The rain softened to a drizzle. He turned off the engine and handed her tissues from the glove box. She wiped her face, then looked at him through the mirror. "Why did you stop?" "You looked like you needed someone." Her eyes filled again, but this time with something else. Relief. Gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered. "You're the first person tonight who didn't ask who I was. Just if I was okay." Jack held her gaze. That's all that mattered. She stepped out into the mist, her figure glowing briefly in the yellow taxi light before disappearing into the trees. Jack sat there long after she was gone, staring at the empty back seat. He didn't know her name. Didn't expect to see her again, but 4 days later, a black limousine pulled up in front of his cab. Driver stepped out and handed him a white envelope. Inside was a handwritten card. "I'd like to thank you properly. 7 p.m. tomorrow. 17 Evergreen Lane." Linda. Jack stared at the address, his heart pounding. What had he just gotten himself into? The iron gates opened like something out of a dream. Jack's beat-up taxi felt like a toy car rolling through them. At the end of the tree-lined driveway stood a mansion, all glass and marble, bathed in golden light. Valets moved like ghosts. Luxury cars gleamed under spotlights. Jack killed the engine and sat there, gripping the wheel. A valet opened his door. "Welcome, sir." Jack stepped out, tugging at his worn jacket. Every step toward the grand entrance felt heavier than the last. The double doors opened before he could. Knock, and there she was, Linda, but not the Linda from that rainy night. This woman wore a cream silk dress that moved like water. Her hair fell in soft waves. Her makeup was flawless. She smiled. "Hi, Jack. I'm glad you came." He blinked. "You look different. I feel different too." She stepped aside. "Come in." The foyer stretched out like a cathedral. Chandeliers glittered overhead. Their footsteps echoed on polished marble. She led him to a small dining room, intimate despite its size. A table for 2 sat by the window, candles flickering between them. Dinner was already served. Jack sat slowly, eyes scanning everything. "This is a lot." Linda poured wine into his glass. "You saved my life, Jack. A thank you seemed necessary. I gave you a ride. You gave me more than that." Her voice softened. "You gave me hope when I had none." Jack studied her face, searching for the broken woman from the rain. She was still there, behind the polish. In the way her hands trembled slightly, in the way her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. "What happened that night?" he asked. Linda's smile faded. She set down her glass. "I was running. From a life I didn't choose? From people who think they own me? Who?" She looked away. "It's complicated. Most things worth knowing are." Linda met his eyes, and something raw passed between them. Vulnerability. Connection. My father, she said finally. He's not a good man, Jack. He built this empire on lies and blood. And I'm his perfect daughter. His bargaining chip. Jack leaned forward. What does that mean? It means he arranged my engagement to a man I've never loved. A business deal wrapped in a wedding dress. Her voice cracked. That night I ran. I couldn't do it anymore. I just wanted to disappear. Jack's jaw tightened. Why didn't you? Because you reminded me that there are still good people in the world. She reached across the table, her fingers brushing his. You didn't want anything from me? You just saw someone who needed help. Jack's hand closed around hers. Warm, real. You don't owe me anything, Linda. Maybe not, she whispered. But I want to give you something anyway. She stood and walked to the window, her silhouette framed against the city lights. Stay, she said without turning. Just for tonight. I don't want to be alone. Jack rose slowly. Every instinct told him this was dangerous, that he was stepping into a world he didn't understand. But when Linda turned to face him, her eyes pleading and honest, he couldn't walk away. Okay, he said. I'll stay. She smiled, and for the first time, it reached her eyes. But as Jack moved closer, the dining room door burst open. A tall man in a black suit stood in the doorway, his face carved from stone. Miss Linda, he said coldly, your father wants to see you now. Linda's face went white. I told him I'm not available tonight. Victor's gaze shifted to Jack, cold and assessing. He insists. Jack stepped forward. She said no. Victor's lips curled into something that wasn't quite a smile. And who are you exactly? Linda grabbed Jack's arm. He's a friend. Tell my father I'll see him tomorrow.
Oh.
Victor didn't move. That wasn't a request. The air went ice cold, and Jack realized he'd walked straight into a trap. Linda's father sat behind a desk the size of a small car, smoke curling from his cigar. His eyes were shark eyes, cold, calculating, dead. So he said, leaning back, You're the taxi driver. Jack stood his ground. I'm a friend, the old man laughed, a sound like gravel scraping metal. My daughter doesn't have friends. She has assets, liabilities, and right now, you're looking like a liability. Dad, stop, Linda said, her voice tight. Her father ignored her. Do you know who I am, boy? Should I? Another laugh. Vincent Chen. Maybe you've heard the name. I own half this city. The other half just doesn't know it yet. Jack kept his face neutral. Congratulations. Vincent stood, buttoning his suit jacket. He walked around the desk like a predator circling prey. Let me be clear. My daughter is engaged. The wedding is in 3 months. This little fantasy of hers ends tonight. That's not your decision, Linda said, her voice shaking. Vincent's hand shot out and grabbed her wrist. Everything about you is my decision. Jack moved without thinking. He stepped between them, breaking Vincent's grip. Don't touch her. The room went silent, dangerous. Vincent's smile was blade-thin. You've got courage? Stupid courage, but courage. 2 guards appeared from the shadows, hands inside their jackets. Linda grabbed Jack's arm. Please, just go. I'm not leaving you here. You have to, she whispered urgently. He'll hurt you, Jack. He'll destroy you. Vincent waved a hand and the guards stepped forward. Take him out, gently, for now. Jack let them lead him toward the door, but he looked back at Linda. Her eyes were filled with tears and something else, fear. As Jack was escorted out, Victor appeared in the hallway, that cold smile still on his face. A word of advice, Victor said quietly. Forget you ever met her. Men who don't tend to have unfortunate accidents. Jack's fists clenched. Is that a threat? It's a promise. Outside, Jack sat in his taxi, hands shaking with rage. He started to drive, but only made it 2 blocks before pulling over. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Meet me midnight. The park where you took me that night. Come alone, Linda. Jack stared at the message. Every logical part of his brain screamed to drive away, to forget this, to stay in his lane, but he couldn't. At midnight, the park was empty. Fog rolled between the trees like ghosts. Jack waited by the bench, every nerve on fire. Footsteps. Linda emerged from the shadows, wearing jeans and a hoodie. No makeup, hair pulled back. She looked like the girl from the rain again. "You came," she breathed. "What's going on, Linda?" She sat on the bench, hands clasped tight. "I need your help. But if I tell you the truth, you'll hate me. Try me." Linda took a shaky breath. "That night you found me, I wasn't just running from my father. I was running from a choice I made." She looked up at him, tears streaming. 3 months ago, I witnessed something. A murder. My father ordered it. I saw everything." Jack's blood went cold. "Jesus. I was going to go to the police. I had evidence, files, recordings, but my father found out." Her voice broke. "He killed the detective I was working with, made it look like suicide. And then he told me if I ever tried to run or talk again, he'd kill everyone I cared about. Why tell me this? Because I have the evidence hidden. And I need someone I can trust to help me get it to the right people." She grabbed his hands. "I know this is insane. I know I'm asking too much. But you're the only person who's ever looked at me like I'm more than a pawn." Jack's mind raced. This was bigger than he thought, darker, more dangerous. "Where's the evidence?" Linda's eyes flickered with hope. "A safety deposit box. Downtown. But there's a problem." "What?" "The only other person who knows where it is," Linda said slowly, "is my fiancé." Jack froze. "What are you saying?" Linda stood, her face pale in the moonlight. "Marcus isn't just some businessman. He's FBI. Deep cover. He was investigating my father, and I was his way in." Jack's stomach dropped. "You're working with him?" "I was," she whispered. "Until I found out he's not who he says he is either." "Linda, what the hell is going on?" She turned to him, and in her eyes was a truth that shattered everything. "Marcus works for my father now, Jack." He turned. "And tomorrow night, he's going to kill me and make it look like I ran away." Jack's world tilted sideways. Nothing was what it seemed. Jack paced the park like a caged animal. "We go to the police." "Right now? With what proof?" Linda's voice was sharp with desperation. "Marcus has connections everywhere. My father owns half the department. We need the evidence from that box first. Then we get it." "It's not that simple." Linda pulled out a small key from her pocket. "This opens the box. But Marcus has the second key. Both are needed. And he's meeting me tomorrow night at the bank, after hours. He thinks I'm going to sign papers, transferring my trust fund to him." Jack stopped pacing. "It's a setup. Of course it's a setup." Linda's eyes were hard now, survival mode kicking in. "But it's also our only shot. We get there first. Break into the box. Get the evidence. And disappear before Marcus arrives." "How do we break into a safety deposit box?" Linda smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "I know someone who can help." "But Jack, you need to understand something. After tonight, your life will never be the same. My father will come after you. Marcus will hunt you. You'll be running forever." Jack met her gaze. "Then we run together." Something shifted in Linda's expression. Softness broke through the armor. "Why are you doing this?" "Because," Jack said, stepping closer, "you deserve a life that's yours. Not your father's, not Marcus's, yours." Linda's breath caught. She reached up and touched his face, her fingers trembling against his jaw. "I don't deserve you," she whispered. "Maybe not." Jack covered her hand with his. "But you're stuck with me anyway." For one heartbeat, the world went quiet. Just them. Just this moment. Then Linda's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and her face went white. "It's Marcus. He moved up the meeting. He wants to meet tonight." In 1 hour, Jack's blood turned to ice. "We're not ready. We don't have a choice." Linda grabbed his arm. "Jack, listen to me." Whatever happens tonight, you have to promise me something. What? If things go wrong, you run. You don't look back. You don't try to save me. You just run, Linda. No, promise me, she said fiercely. Please. Jack wanted to argue. Wanted to tell her he'd never leave her behind. But he saw the fear in her eyes. The acceptance. The resignation. "'Kay," he lied. "I promise." They drove downtown in silence, the city lights blurring past. The bank was a fortress of glass and steel. It's dark except for a single light in the lobby. Linda led Jack through a side entrance using a code she'd somehow acquired. They moved through empty hallways like ghosts. The vault room was massive. Rows of metal boxes stretched into shadows. Linda found hers. Box 447. She inserted her key. The mechanism clicked but didn't open. "We need the second key," she breathed. Footsteps echoed from the hallway. Jack and Linda froze. The vault door swung open. Marcus walked in. Tall and sharp in a black suit, his smile was all teeth. Behind him, 2 armed men took positions at the exits. "Linda," Marcus said warmly. "Right on time." Linda stepped forward, her face a mask of calm. "Marcus, I wasn't expecting backup. Just a precaution." His eyes slid to Jack. "And you brought a friend. How unexpected." Jack's hand moved toward his pocket, but one of the guards raised a gun. Marcus laughed. "Relax, taxi driver. Nobody needs to get hurt tonight." He pulled out a key from his jacket. "Let's just finish our business, shall we?" Linda glanced at Jack. A silent message passed between them. "Trust me." Marcus inserted his key next to Linda's. The box clicked open. Inside was a manila envelope. Marcus reached for it, but Linda was faster. She grabbed it and stepped back. "Not so fast," she said. Marcus's smile vanished. "Linda, don't be stupid. Stupid was trusting you." Linda's voice was ice. "Did you really think I didn't know? That I didn't see you meeting with my father? Didn't hear the phone calls?" Marcus's jaw tightened. "Give me the envelope." "No," he nodded to the guards. They raised their guns, aiming at Jack. "Last chance," Marcus said softly. "The envelope. Or I put a bullet in your taxi driver's brain." Linda's hand shook. She looked at Jack, her eyes filled with anguish. "Do it," Jack said quietly. "Give it to him, Jack." "No, it's okay." Smiled at her, and it was genuine, real. "It's okay." Linda's face crumpled. She held out the envelope. Marcus took it, weighing it in his hands. "Smart girl." Then he raised his own gun. "Fortunately," Marcus said, "you both know too much." Time slowed. Linda screamed. The gun fired, but not at Jack. Linda lunged forward. Pushing Jack aside, the bullet hit her shoulder, spinning her backward. She collapsed against the metal boxes, blood spreading across her shirt. Jack's vision went red. He charged at Marcus, tackling him to the ground. The envelope flew from Marcus's hands, scattering papers across the floor. The guards moved forward, but Jack was fury incarnate. He slammed Marcus's head against the floor once, twice, until the man went limp. One guard aimed. Jack rolled, using Marcus's body as a shield. The shot went wild. Linda, bleeding and gasping, grabbed a metal lockbox and hurled it at the guard. It connected with his temple. He dropped. The second guard ran. Silence fell like a curtain. Jack crawled to Linda, pressing his hands against her wound. "Stay with me. Stay with me." "The papers," she gasped. "Get the papers." Jack gathered the scattered documents with shaking hands. Bank statements, photographs, recordings, all the proof they needed. Linda's eyes fluttered. "Jack, you have to go. The police will come. If they find you here, I'm not leaving you. You have to." She grabbed his shirt, pulling him close. "Take the evidence." "Finish this, please." "Linda, promise me," she whispered. "For real this time?" Sirens wailed in the distance. Jack looked at the woman who'd become everything in just a handful of days. The woman who'd taken a bullet meant for him. He kissed her forehead. "I promise." Then he ran, the envelope clutched in his bleeding hands. leaving Linda behind in a pool of spreading red. And Jack knew, with absolute certainty, that he'd just made the biggest mistake of his life. Jack didn't sleep for 3 days. He moved from motel to motel, the envelope burning a hole through his backpack. Every news channel told the same story. Linda Chen, daughter of business mogul Vincent Chen, critically wounded in a bank robbery gone wrong. Marcus Webb, FBI agent, killed in the line of duty. The lies tasted like ash in Jack's mouth. He'd tried calling Linda's phone 17 times. 17 times it went straight to voicemail. On the 4th day, Jack sat in a diner on the edge of the city, coffee going cold in front of him. The evidence was spread across the table. Years of corruption, murder, bribery, enough to bury Vincent Chen forever. All Jack had to do was deliver it, but something kept stopping him. The door chimed. Jack looked up and his heart stopped. Linda walked in, her arm in a sling, her face pale but alive. So beautifully, impossibly alive. She slid into the booth across from him. Hi, Jack couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe? Surprised? She asked softly. You were shot. I thought you thought I'd die. Linda smiled, but it was sad. Haunted. But apparently I'm harder to kill than I look. Jack reached across the table, needing to touch her. To make sure she was real? Linda caught his hand, lacing their fingers together. Why didn't you call? He asked, his voice breaking. 'Cause I needed to do something first. Linda pulled out her own envelope and placed it on the table. I made copies of everything. And I sent them to 3 different newspapers, 2 federal prosecutors, and the Attorney General. Jack stared. When, before I met you at the bank, I knew Marcus couldn't be trusted. I knew my father would come for me eventually. She squeezed his hand. I just needed someone brave enough to get the original evidence out while I played bait. The weight of it hit Jack like a truck. You used me? Linda's eyes filled. Yes, you manipulated me. From the start, yes. It's that night in the rain. Was any of it real? Linda's voice cracked. That was the most real thing I've ever done. Jack, I was going to die that night. Overdose on pills in the rain. Just disappear. But then you stopped. Tears streamed down her face. You stopped. And for the first time in my life, someone saw me. Really saw me. Not my father's daughter. Not a pawn. Just me. Jack pulled his hand away. But you still lied. I did, Linda whispered. I lied because I was desperate. Because I was scared. Because I'd watched my father destroy everyone who tried to stop him, and I needed someone he wouldn't see coming. She wiped her eyes. I'm not asking for forgiveness, Jack. I know what I did was wrong. But I need you to know that everything I felt, everything between us, that was real. Jack looked at the evidence. At the woman who'd used him and saved him in equal measure. My father's been arrested, Linda said quietly. Federal charges. The trial starts next month. He'll die in prison. Good. And I'm free. She laughed, but it was hollow. Free and completely alone. No family. No friends. No home. Just me and a bullet scar. Jack studied her face. The exhaustion. The guilt. The fragile hope. What do you want from me, Linda? She met his eyes. I want you to know the truth. All of it. And then I want you to walk away if that's what you need to do. Because you deserve better than someone as broken as me. The diner hummed around them. Coffee machines hissed. Someone dropped a plate in the kitchen. Jack thought about that rainy night. About the woman trembling in his back seat. About the moment she'd taken a bullet meant for him. He thought about love and lies and the complicated space between them. I should walk away, he said finally. Linda nodded, tears falling. I know I should hate you. I know, but I don't. Jack leaned forward. I'm angry. I'm hurt. But I don't hate you. Linda's breath hitched. What are you saying? I'm saying that love isn't simple. It's not clean. It's messy and complicated, and sometimes it comes wrapped in lies. Jack reached across and wiped a tear from her cheek. I'm saying that you made a choice in that bank. You took a bullet for me. That means something. It means I love you, Linda whispered, even though I have no right to. Jack smiled, and it was broken and beautiful. Maybe love isn't about rights. Maybe it's about choices. What choice are you making? He gathered up the evidence and stood. Linda's face fell, but Jack held out his hand. I'm choosing to start over. Clean slate. No lies, no games. Just two broken people trying to figure out how to be whole together. Linda stared at his hand like it was a miracle. Are you sure? No, Jack admitted. But I'm sure about you, about us. About giving this a real shot. Linda took his hand and stood. They walked out of the diner together, into the bright afternoon sun. The road ahead was uncertain. There would be trials, testimonies, media storms, healing that would take years. But for the first time in both their lives, they weren't running. They were choosing. Jack started the taxi, Linda beside him in the passenger seat this time, not hiding in the back, not running. Just present where to? He asked. Linda smiled, and this time it reached her eyes. Anywhere, everywhere, as long as it's with you. Jack pulled onto the highway, the city shrinking in the rearview mirror. Two broken people, one messy, complicated, beautiful chance, and a future written in their own hands. The end.